Hey there everybody, welcome back to Android Central Live here at the Samsung DevCon in San Francisco. I'm here with Peter Havens from Centrify. We're going to talk a little bit, sit down, you're going to need me a minute for this, because we're going to talk about Knox, which is this big, scary, enterprise-y security thing that is going into, what is it, probably 4 or 5 Samsung phones now?
Devices, yeah. It's going into all devices moving forward, but I think right now it's in the Galaxy Note 3. It's in the S4 in Europe, going to the S4 in the US, I think at the end of this month, and then every device here on out. And I think it's going back to the earlier devices, the S3 and Note 2 later this year.
Do me a favor, take 30 seconds and explain to everybody why Knox is a big deal, just from as a consumer, as a normal person who doesn't understand this stuff. I take my phone to my job. I want to use one phone. I don't want to have a work phone. How does Knox help me do that, and how do you guys help me do that?
Well, Knox helps because the enterprise has had a hard time trusting Android in general, right? Malware has been a concern. The fact that the apps aren't vetted, anything can get on there. Devices are easily rooted. So if you look at traditional penetration for Android devices into the market, it's relatively low with the mobile device vendors. It's in the 1-digit percentages because there's been a trust issue. And Knox really comes to try to solve that problem, to try to bring a secure solution to Android. And so it's built from the hardware up. There's I guess I call it a chain of trust, or from the hardware to the operating system to everything in between.
Right.
That there's this trusted chain that boots and secures the device and the container and everything with it. So it's built on SE Linux. They termed a phrase SE Android, which is built same way they build security enhanced Linux. Now there's a security enhanced Android, and that's built into the Knox container. So Knox is more than just a container. It's the whole device, the whole platform. What you see most of the time is the actual container. So we'll show you that here in a minute.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Do I have to download it? Does it just come?
That's a great question. Yeah. So it depends what device you get.
Right.
So the Note 3s that are coming for European Open already have it. The S4s, so if you go and purchase a European Open Note 3, it's got Knox built into it. It'll actually have a personal Knox, which is kind of a simplified version of Knox, just to kind of give you a taste. Gives you a couple of access points for Knox. Like it's a personal container, not really to be managed by the enterprise. So that comes with it, but if you get the Note 3 in the US, it does not. So you'll have to enable it through a mobile device management solution that your enterprise uses.
Gotcha.
The S4s are in Europe, again, the European Open device, I think the over-the-air update is already available, and the updates for the US are coming out now in the next couple of weeks. And I think for the older devices, the S3 and Note 2, they will come later in this year.
So we talk about Knox, but then there are actually other companies that come between Knox and me as an end user, and Centrify is one of them. So where do you guys come in with all this?
So in order to get Knox for the enterprise, you've got to have a mobile device management company that enables it. It's got to be created by some entity. So your organization, your enterprise, the company you work for would decide who they want to go with, and they would set up the MDM backend, and then that would be used to deliver Knox policies to the device. For Knox specifically, when you actually use Knox, you have to get a license from Samsung to use it. And if you purchase that license, the Centrify solution for management and for single sign-on is included. So no extra cost, it's part of the Knox solution. Yeah.
So you want to walk us through?
Sure. I've got a Samsung Galaxy S4 here, and it's got Knox on it. I've already set it up, so I'm not going to walk you through that. Let me hide my passcode from everybody here. I won't walk through the actual installation of Knox because it's already here. But you can see I've got a Knox icon there, which actually launches me into the corporate environment. Now, it wasn't locked in this case because I have used it recently, but I could lock it at any time. And now if I try to launch that container, I won't be able to. So if I were going to hand my phone off to you, I won't be able to. It should ask me for passcode. I think I had my fingers in the way. So if I wanted to give you my phone and say, here, check things out for a while, I could do that and just lock the container.
Gotcha.
You couldn't send email to my boss and that kind of stuff. So apologize, I'll switch over here. I'm going to go ahead and log into the container. So the nice thing is nobody likes passwords, especially on mobile because they're hard to key in.
Right.
Nice thing about Knox is once you key it in once and you're into the Knox environment, ooh, nice. Downloading a whole bunch of cool stuff here.
Even we get demo fields.
Yes. Once you're in, you have single sign-on within the Knox container. So I mentioned we do provisioning of the Knox container. We do device management. Okay. Is that better? Yeah. So once we're into the Knox container, we provide single sign-on. So I'll give you an example of that. This Box app I just installed from the Samsung Knox App Store here. It's never been run. Normally when you would launch something like Box, an enterprise app, it would ask you for a username and password. And you'll see here, it's just logging in. So it's actually asking the Knox operating system who the single sign-on user is, and it's seeing that one's provisioned. And after it sees that, it goes ahead and requests a SAML token for that user if he's authorized to use Knox. and you get immediate access to your files. Whoops, I'll just skip the login there.
To your corporate files.
With your box files, yeah, your enterprise files. Box has just integrated the single sign-on APIs to make that possible. So the way they do that, I've got a little demo app which kind of demonstrates this. And there's 3 simple calls that they can use. One is just the get user information. So it's called get user information, and you call that, and I'm sure you'll never see that with the camera. But it tells the application who the single sign-on user is.
Right.
So they don't have to put in their password or their email address or whatever, not their password, but their email address. And once they have that, they know who the user is. They can ask if the user is authenticated or is authorized to use this application. So there's a get SAML token or a get token. So they call that. It goes and fetches a SAML token for the application. In this sample application, it's just going out and making a query to Salesforce for data. So never need to put in the username, never need to put in the password. It really gets away from the problems we're having today with users using the same password on every account, and then somebody gets hacked, and you got to change your password everywhere because everybody knows it. Right. No more passwords is the goal we're after here. So single sign-in is also made available for web applications. Centrify supports, I think, over 1,800 web applications today. Most of them are username password. The adoption of SAML-based authentication is growing, but it's still small in comparison to the overall size of applications. I think we support around 60 to 70 today, and it's growing rapidly.
So really what you're doing is you're making corporate security easier on me as an end user.
Yeah, absolutely, right? So, I mean, you've still got to get into the container, but once you do, the expectation is, hey, you've proven who you are. You're able to get into that container now. Don't make me prove it over and over and over again. Because what I'll end up doing is just using the same password everywhere, which is not,
using
really the security. Yeah, exactly. Or using a very simple password, which again, thwarts what we're all trying to do is protect the corporate environment.
Excellent.
So that's kind of an overview of Knox. We do, all kinds of good stuff. We also do application management and deployment to both the device and the container, and it's cross-platform. Works on iOS, works on plain old Android, Samsung, also Mac devices, Mac OS 10 devices. So,
excellent. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks.
So that's it for Centrify, and that's it for us for a couple minutes. I think I'm going to go get a salad, maybe.
Sounds good.
So we'll be back. We got plenty more coming from Android Central Live here at the Samsung Developers Conference in San Francisco.
Thanks.